welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. NXT is back on top, man. What a fun episode of NXT this was, man. See what happens when you have young wrestlers who are enthusiastic. They got a lot to prove, and you just give them the reins to just start doing stuff. They do stuff. Yes, we could complain sometimes a little bit about the matches, just a little bit. Quality of matches, style of match, that kind of thing. But overall, a very fun show. Let's get into it. First match, they doing the tag team qualifiers for some kind of tag team thing that I completely forgot existed. Apparently, they're doing a triple threat match so that the winner of the triple threat match will wrestle Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin at Stand and Deliver. So they're doing qualifiers for that match. And the LWO wrestled OTM. LWO won the match. Not a big fan of that idea, but I understand why. Joaquin Wilder just goes crazy. You know, he's had some really dope spots in these matches, and this guy, again, spent years in TNA, you know, pretty much covered in mothballs and dirt, and this LWO thing really has kind of launched his career to another level. No pun intended. Okay, so that was fine. The Good Brothers will be facing Hank and Tank next week. Hank and Tank cut a promo where they were super enthusiastic and very high energy. And it was actually not bad. I don't remember nothing that they said because they were talking so fast, but it was at least not boring. And at least it didn't suck too bad. And they ended up getting really turned up because of Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, who strolled up to them and gave them some fist bumps. I don't know why the War Dogs are baby faces all of a sudden, but they are. And they gave Hank and Tank fist bumps and got them all fired up. And apparently they're football players, and Braun was a football player, and this all just works out marvelously. So the Good Brothers will be wrestling Hank and Tank next week. Hank and Tank, these were the guys who were wrestling the Creed Brothers on Main Event when the Creed Brothers got debuted with their new music and their new look. And it's all such a tragedy. That new Creed Brothers theme is absolute dung. All right? It's full dung. It's diarrhea of the anus. It sucks. Def Rebel, fire them immediately. Anyway, Hank and Tank are at least fun. The Good Brothers, they look like bowling pins. Next, Obafemi. He's in the parking lot as usual, and he's talking about the NXT North America Championship. He's wearing a pink shirt, gigantic African dude in a pink shirt, and here comes Brooks Jensen shoving him, saying that he wants to fight him because, of course, the match is already set. But he wants, you know, the focus to be on him as Obafemi is kind of making threats towards Josh Briggs. So Briggs comes out there to hold back Brooks Jensen, and Obafemi is all bolo. You are next. You watch what I do to him. And I'm like, oh, yikes. So before their match, Obafemi cut another promo saying that Brooks Jensen's a young boy, ignorant boy, trying to prove himself, and basically threatening he's just going to destroy this guy, which he ended up doing. I mean, he dribbled Brooks Jensen around the ring for maybe a little too long, but they wanted to make it look somewhat competitive. And Josh Briggs came ringside to cheer for Brooks Jensen and to lend some support, but basically it's blood sport, and Obafemi is Bolo, and Josh Briggs is Frank Dukes. So he had to watch as Brooks Jensen just got destroyed before ultimately getting pinned, and that was interesting. That was very interesting. After the match, before the match, I should say, Dijak approached Obafemi and said that he doesn't believe in Obafemi yet. That he's going to see after this match if he's ready for a real challenge. And I think so. I think Obafemi is ready. This dude is tremendous. He's got it all down. What one of the I'm gonna mention this again, but one of the things that you look at when you're talking about wrestlers is how expressive they are. And Obafemi is really good at being expressive. Not only is he big and, jacked and all that kind of stuff, but his facial expressions are really expressive, like the bug eyes and the psychotic look in his face. But he speaks with good diction, and it's good. It works. It has multiple levels to the character and to the gimmick. Brooks Jessup being the scrappy underdog. Okay, it works, but so I can't complain. So it's okay. All right. So Thea Hale, Chase University, this stuff was excellent. Even though it was kind of cringe, it was also kind of excellent. So Thea Hale is backstage. She's all disappointed. She's standing there with Andre Chase. And we're told this is the first real conversation that they've had since Towelgate. And that is since, I don't know how many months ago, where Andre Chase threw in the towel and Thea Hale lost her women's title match. They've been on the outs ever since. So this is the first real on-screen conversation between the two. And it wasn't any real depth. It was just Andre Chase saying that he's always going to be there for her. He's always got her back. But she's distraught because JC Jane and Jasmine Nix are having fun without her. So she starts saying, I'm a grown-ass woman. I have other friends. And people are kind of questioning it. She's like, I have other friends. And they're trying to think about who her new friends are. And she's struggling to figure out one. And luckily somebody walks up, and it's Kalani Jordan. Young Kalani Jordan doesn't like Kiana James. So she volunteers to team with Thea Hale versus Izzy Dame and Kiana James, which was the scheduled match. So Thea Hale went from having no partner to now she's got one. And this all was looking very rosy until the sixth match on the show, Thea Hale and Kalani Jordan versus Izzy Dame and Kiana James. That's what you thought. But during Kiana James and Izzy Dame's entrance, we get backstage. Kalani Jordan's on the ground, and this was incredibly humorous to me. Kalani Jordan's on the ground, rolling about, squealing, holding her knee. And the referees are like, what's going on? What hurts? And she says everything while holding her knee. Everybody's dumb in this situation. The referee see her holding her knee and then still asks her what's wrong. And then instead of saying my knee, she says everything. Oh, this is beautiful. So Thea Hale decides she's going to fight the match by herself with no partner. And then here comes Fallon Henley, comes out there to save her. Everything's all right with the world. The match is not very long. Thea Hale is outside the ring. JC Jane and Jasmine Nix come ringside. They're not supposed to be there. They're supposed to be out hanging, doing something else, not wanting to be part of this. Thea Hale is knocked outside the ring. Izzy Dame goes to kick, was it Fallon Henley, who gets yanked out the way by JC Jane and ends up kicking Thea Hale in the face. Thea Hale is then thrown in the ring. Kiana James hits her finish. Kiana James and Izzy Dames win the match. They immediately scatter. They won, and then they got the hell on out of there. Because we are about to partake in a promo segment that is 100% headcanon, but also accurate and actually quite good. So Thea Hale, after losing the match, she gets on the microphone. She sees that JC and Jasmine are there. And she starts kind of breaking down. She's trying to do her best Cody Rhodes. She's trying to cry. It ain't working. She's being cringe, but it ain't working. She wants to know what happened. She thought that her and JC were best friends. She thought that JC was her sister. But JC thinks that she's a loser. Just like JC thinks everyone is a loser. She said that she changed who she was because she idolized JC. She wanted to be like JC. It says that the whole time she was trying to be JC's friend, JC was just still being rotten. Then she said she doesn't want to be like JC anymore. She doesn't care if JC thinks she's a loser. The old Thea Hill is back, bitch. And she spikes the microphone and starts running around the ring. It just started running around the ring. And JC Jane, who had said nothing this entire segment, it's been all Thea Hill. Headcanon, reading JC Jane's mind, running around in circles. Now, when she eventually leaves the ring and leaves this very small autist in the ring, barking and throwing up the U and all that kind of stuff, JC Jane says that she's ungrateful, which is the only line she said the entire segment. She didn't say anything the entire segment. So this is great. I came to the conclusion that Thea Hill should be a cornerstone of the women's division. She's too young right now. I think she's only like 19 or 20. She's entirely too young right now. But in 2 or 3 years, Thea Hill could be a top star in the company. She's got charisma. She's got enthusiasm. She can work. She can talk. She has some kind of emotional range to the character. Just the stuff she's been doing over the past 2 years has been top-notch stuff. Yes, the pretend crying here and the length of the promo was probably too much, but they're really stretching the character to see what she can do. And she's doing a good job. You know, making her another high-energy babyface, I think we already got that with that Brindley Reese, who we'll talk about in a second. But that sort of gimmick can be fun. And it was fun. So we're looking at JC Jane versus Thea Hill at some point. Also, Jasmine Nix is going to be in the mix too. So we're getting the old Thea Hill back. I'm okay with that. I would have liked for them to go a little bit further with her changing who she is first. But I like this. This is very good. Thea Hill is showing the most potential out of any woman in NXT that was not named Tiffany Stratton. It was Tiffany Stratton, and they got her out of there quick. Thea Hill is next. Now, she's still doing Chase University, and you don't want her doing that on the main roster. But you see that she can do other things. If you give her character a direction and let the girl take it, she can take it. Just got to give her the ball, you know. I'm not sure she's ready to be the champion yet, which is why I say in 2 or 3 years, you know, she could probably be up on Raw or SmackDown and be a higher level baby face. I don't know if she's a face of the company kind of character, but she could be, if you're going to have Rhea Ripley be like your top heel, Thea Hill could work as your top baby face. Issue is she might be a little small. Speaking of a little small and kind of green on the microphone, they gave Roxanne Perez all the promo time in the world. And in typical WWE fashion, and this is one thing that I'm not a big fan of, is they feel the need to recap everything in the promo rather than just showing you a video package and then letting the wrestler take over from a certain point. They have the wrestler lay it all out. So Roxanne Perez is going to explain why she's a heel. Basically, she says all of this has been boiling up inside of her for a year. When she was a champion and she ended up collapsing and she lost the title and never was able to get a rematch and nobody cared about her. They was too interested in Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton and all the other people. And the audience made her feel worthless. They didn't pay her any attention. They didn't care about her. She said, screw them. And then now she's expecting for Ava to hand her the championship that she never lost. And Ava, of course, refused. And then Tatum Paxley came out there. She got kneed in the head first, but she got drug away by a bunch of officials. So this was supposed to be a dastardly heel promo from Roxanne Perez, but it came across as very whiny, which I guess is part of the character. I think the promo was too long. The character arc for Roxanne Perez, if you look at, again, NXT has been playing the long game. This Thea Hill story has been going on for a year. The Roxanne Perez story has been going on for a year. All right. The difference is both of them are kind of weak promos because they're not used to this style of promo. But Thea Hill, I think, had more enthusiasm. She had more fire. The people were more into it. Roxanne Perez, she may have had a good point, but they had Thea Hale do the same thing, tell pretty much the entire story in the promo. Instead of showing a video package where she could just say, screw you, I expect you to hand me the championship that I never lost. Just like you guys took it from me, you should take it from Lyra too. That kind of thing. By having her out there basically tell the entire story all over again, she got the chance to bore people. Like she had a little too much time for people to wander off and like, okay, I know this part. I know. Okay, what is the new information you're bringing in? When that's my problem with WWE promos to a degree, and they did it again with Trick Williams later, is they have them recap the entire story instead of letting them get to the new material. Just add new chapters. Have the vignettes and the recaps fill people in, and you just let the characters get to the new information. So Roxanne Perez was probably hampered by this thing being entirely too long, and it's probably not better for her to be out there cutting really long, dramatic recap promos. But she's apparently going to be feuding with Tatum Paxley, so this works out because Tatum Paxley needs something to do, and since she's crazy in love for Lyra Valkyria, this could work out. Okay, next, Tony D'Angelo, another one of these guys that I really like. He's in the restaurant again with Luca Cristofano, Adriana Rizzo, and Stax. And they're talking about the path to the NXT Championship, and Luca Cristofano I said his name wrong in 4 different ways in 8 different videos. Luca Cristofano, he is taking care of that thing and that other thing that Tony D'Angelo wanted him to take care of. Business picked up, however, when Ilya Dragunov showed up to the restaurant. He sat down, everybody else left, everybody just got the hell on out of there. So Ilya Dragunov congratulated Tony D'Angelo, says that Tony D'Angelo's got everything. He's got a family, he's got this restaurant, he's got his business interests, he's got all these things, he's got a title match, he's got all these things. The only thing Dragunov has is this championship. And he's going to have a hell of a time taking it from him. He says, nothing else. I don't have anything else. And this belt stays with me. So Tony D'Angelo takes a little sip of his wine or champagne or whatever and says that no matter what happens here, just remember the Don likes you. And Ilya Dragunov's like, what the hell are you talking about? He then gets grabbed. He gets snatched. He gets hemmed up. And they take him out of the restaurant. But this is the thing that popped huge. They put him in the trunk. They put Ilya Dragunov in the trunk of a car, bro. They took that man and put him in the trunk. Okay? So then they drove out to the bridge where Tony D'Angelo let him out. Just let him out. And Dragunov is furious. He's damn near breathing fire. So Tony D'Angelo is like, look, I've been to this bridge with many guys. Usually, I come out here with somebody else and I leave alone. But that's not going to happen this time. Then he tells Ilya Dragunov he did this not out of disrespect, but to show Dragunov that he can't come to his establishment uninvited and be disrespectful. He's not going to tolerate disrespect. And then he says, you got power, Ilya, but you don't got power like this. I can snap my fingers and you'll be sleeping with the fishes, essentially. So Dragunov demands that he snap his fingers. Go ahead and do it. But Tony D'Angelo won't. He wants that championship match. So he says that he's going to leave. And Dragunov's a tough guy. He can walk back. So they did this really amazing cinematic shot of Dragunov with the title, and Tony D'Angelo's walking away, and they, and Dragunov calls out to him, and they have a little bit more banter. But the theatrics here is amazing. This is great. They're doing stuff outside of the ring. that really emphasizes the characters. It added some heat to show you that Tony D'Angelo might actually be the heel in this situation. Like, he's trying to be somewhat respectful, but you see the authority and the power that Tony D'Angelo has and what he can do. And if he wanted to cheat and take out Ilya Dragunov, he could, whenever he feels like it. He's choosing not to. You know, he's being very generous when it comes to Ilya Dragunov. And you can see that Ilya Dragunov went from kind of respecting Tony D'Angelo to being very pissed at him, because now he feels disrespected by Tony D'Angelo. You know, he even got hemmed up by some goons. They threatened to throw him off a bridge. They didn't do it, but they threatened to do it, which is more than enough in my book. So they're adding a little bit of heat to this. This is what I've been saying all along about these boring storylines that who's the better man? Nobody cares about that. They want to know this mob boss could beat the shit out of Ilya Dragunov without even trying, without any effort on his part, just by having goons do it. But he intends to do it on his own because he's somewhat honorable, and there's a measure of respect to be had here. But at any time, the threat that he can go full heel and have Ilya Dragunov completely wiped out could happen. So you leave that threat dangling over Dragunov's head, and it's in the mind of the fans too, because now he's got goons. So I'm very interested in that. Next, Robert Stone is defeated by Lexis King. This was a low part of the show. Lexis King is still funny, but Robert Stone sucks. He has his moments, but this wasn't one of them. He basically had a match in which, of course, he was completely outmatched. Von Wagner came out there to help him, but he couldn't do anything until Robert Stone had already taken the pin. Lexis King was going to continue the beating after the match, but then Von Wagner saved him and snatched him away. He carried him away like a damsel in distress, and Robert Stone's eyes were still open, which was 100% humorous. Just never stopped being funny. Of course, they're still building up Lexis King versus Von Wagner. I kind of cringe at that, right? Okay, so Ridge Holland is working out backstage, and he's got his family on FaceTime. So he's talking about why he do this. He does this for them. And that is going to be fine. That is going to do a good job. Or whatever the hell. Leading to the match, Shawn Spears versus Ridge Holland, the in-ring main event of the show. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're living in a world where I'm putting over how great NXT is, and Shawn Spears is in the main event. Shawn Spears. Oh my God. There's just nothing good that comes out of this. I think everybody went to sleep. As soon as this match started, as soon as his theme song started to play, everybody just started going full Wendy Chew. Just started going to bed. All right. So this match, it was dumb. All right, let's explain. Let's get through this. So Ridge Holland was going to run Shawn Spears' head into a ring post. He hesitated and didn't do it. Shawn Spears says, "Oh, you should have did it. Now I'm going to punish you. Now I'm going to make you hurt." So they continue the match, and then Shawn Spears gets Ridge Holland all tangled up in the ropes, says that Ridge Holland let him down. Ridge Holland has also let his wife down. His wife being Ridge Holland's wife, his own wife. So Ridge Holland snaps and hulks up, kind of. It was very mild because the crowd did not go crazy. He threw a couple of punches, threw Shawn Spears outside the ring, threw him into the barricade, threw him into the steps, threw him back into the ring. He then went outside the ring and choke slammed Shawn Spears through the announce desk. Now you would think, wow, that was incredible. That should be it. But then he slid Shawn Spears in the ring, and Shawn Spears is not even flat on his stomach. He's still like on his knees. So he got chokeslammed through an announce desk, and he's okay. He's all right, I guess. In any event, as he's trying to sell, or supposedly selling, that he just got put through a table, Ridge Holland goes to get a chair. He comes back with the chair. The referee sees the chair, grabs it, puts it into the corner. Shawn Spears scoops up Ridge Holland, does his running Death Valley driver into the corner, smashing Ridge Holland into the chair and pinned him. So not only did this guy win the match, which fucking sucks, by the by, Shawn Michaels, but he got chokeslammed through the announce desk and still won. Shawn Spears is the ultimate warrior, apparently. He's Road Warrior Spears, because he can get chokeslammed through an announce desk and he still wins. What the hell? What kind of video game shit is this? This blue chunks. I get it. The story was supposed to be that Ridge Holland is limiting himself because he's trying to deny who he really is. If he had considered doing these things and then backed off, similar to the storyline they did with Bayley and Alexa Bliss several years ago, when Bayley refused to use weapons or whatever because she felt like she didn't need it against Alexa Bliss. That was not a sensible story at the time, but I understand what they were trying to do. If they were trying to tell that story here and have Ridge Holland not do these things, and then that's why he lost, then it would tell the story that if Ridge Holland cut loose, he may actually win. In this situation, he cut loose and still lost. So what was I supposed to learn out of this? That Ridge Holland is just a big old fat no-neck loser? You lost to Shawn Spears. Man, they need to lock Shawn Spears into the nearest closet. Just lock him in there. I don't care who else is in there. Just lock him in there. Or lock him in a swamp with the nearest crocodile. He should be feeding seals at SeaWorld rather than wrestling matches. He fucking sucks. Moving on. Just have to move on. Gigi Dolan loses to Ariana Grace in what was probably one of the funnier matches on the show. So the stipulation to this match is that Gigi Dolan has to attend what is essentially etiquette class with Ariana Grace if she loses. So Ariana Grace is going full Rick the Model Martel in the early part of the match. She's refusing to let herself be hit in the face. So she's running from every opportunity that looked like Gigi Dolan was going to punch her. She's getting the hell out of there. She's taking off. Okay. So eventually it settles into a regular match and Gigi has the advantage because she's the babyface and Ariana Grace is trying her best to not be violent. So she's trying to apply like wrestling holds and roll-ups and stuff like this. So at one point she decides she's going to kind of embarrass Gigi Dolan. So she gets her tiara, because she has a tiara, because she's a princess. She's Miss NXT. And she's going to put the tiara on the head of Gigi Dolan. The referee sees this. Well, technically it's a foreign object, so the referee goes to take it away. Gigi Dolan then tries to take it from the ref. When Gigi Dolan turns around, Ariana Grace kicked her in the crotch. It was hilarious. Kicked her right in the kitty, right in the cooch. Just boom, like, I don't know you. Kicked her right in the crotch. So, because the Gigi Dolan is female, it didn't have the same devastating effect that a kick in the nuts usually would have, because she doesn't have nuts. But she was pissed off, and she threw a low blow on Ariana Grace right in front of the referee and got disqualified. Which is, I laughed so hard at the ridiculous nature of this. So Ariana Grace technically won the match without pinning Gigi Dolan and without punching her in the face or anything like that. She just straight up cheated. And it rules. It got us to the desired result, which is that Gigi Dolan now has to attend this etiquette class hosted by Ariana Grace, which means we're going to get skits of Ariana Grace being a highfalutin cunt. And it's going to be so much fun. And the finish was actually inventive because now you answered the question. Is hitting a woman between the legs a disqualification? Well, I guess the answer would be no, because they don't have testicles. But since the referees are saying everybody's equal, you can't hit in that spot, it's a disqualification. It's not sensible, no. But to get out of this situation, I'm willing to accept it. It probably would have been better if Gigi Dolan would have hit Ariana Grace with the tiara and she got disqualified that way. It probably would have made more sense then she hit her in she hit her in the cooch, but still, the humor of it was too much for me. And considering Ariana Grace is a very silly character, I'm okay with it. If this was like the main event of a show or something like that, I probably would have been pissed. But since Ariana Grace is silly and it's going to get me to vignettes, which I actually want to see, I'm okay with this. Ariana Grace has the potential also to be a 5-2 player in WWE. She's not a great wrestler, not yet, but she's very expressive. You can watch this match and see Ariana Grace's face. She's selling everything with her face and her body. She understands the small elements of pro wrestling, clearly because she got them from her dad. But she understands that when the camera is on, you sell everything visually so people can see it, not just verbally, but people can see her discomfort with being punched in the face. People can see her disgust at the idea of getting hit in the face. Her attempts at being aggressive and tense and all this kind of stuff, and her cockiness and her arrogance and all this kind of stuff comes across in her character. And she's doing a really good job. She's phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about Ariana Grace. She's probably second to Thea Hale in terms of how they can take it to the next level when it comes to WWE. Clearly, we already kind of have a similar character with Chelsea Green, and she's basically just a jobber. And I can see Ariana Grace being similar, where she's probably not going to be the champion of the company, but she'll probably be around for a long time as a contender and as a character you can do things with. She could be really fun, So I like that. And I think she has a lot of potential. Next, we got the obligatory all the girls in the locker room scene where you got Lola Vice, Sol Ruka, and Carmen Petrovich. They're backstage. At one point, Lola Vice and Carmen Petrovich are getting in each other's faces. And here comes Brynlee Reese. She literally cartwheels into the scene. She's very high energy. She's very hyper verbal. And she gets carried away by Idris Enofe and Malik Blade. What are they doing in the women's locker room, by the by? But they came to kidnap Brynlee Reese, who was being very extra. And then we end this scene with Carmen Petrovich and Lola Vice face to face, to which Lola Vice says that Carmen Petrovich can't see her in the ring or in a cage because her martial arts are basura, which I was like, yeah. Not because I want to see this match for any reason, but I thought I trademarked basura. It's a Spanish word, but hey, Lola Vice, she can take my gimmick and do whatever she wants to with my gimmick. As thick as she is, she got full access to my gimmick. She can do whatever she likes. So, we got to back up a little bit. Thea Hale gives JCJ what for in the ring. Riley Osborne is watching this on the television screen. He's very excited. This is the Thea Hale that he likes. This is the Thea Hale that he always wanted to meet. And here comes the No Dimes Drawn group, and Charlie Dempsey and the rest of the rest of these guys, and they show up. Riley Osborne and Charlie Dempsey, they get into it. Riley Osborne is from England or something, and he's talking about the Heritage Cup representing the style of wrestling that he comes from or the country that he comes from. And Dempsey is like, nah, this kind of represents, the style of wrestling that I do. And Osborne is like, well, you're from Atlanta, and everybody's like, ooh, because, William Regal's British. This guy's an American, right? That's because your daddy is British, doesn't mean you're British. So they kind of starting to have a thing, and the No Quarter Catch crew, the No Dimes Drawn crew, they all of a sudden decide they're going to continue that silly gimmick where everybody can defend the belt. So Axiom and Nathan Fraser appear, and they volunteer to have Riley Osborne's back for his Heritage Cup Championship match next week. So even though he doesn't know who he's going to wrestle, Nathan Fraser and Axiom is going to have his back. Okay, fine. This is just, hopefully it is Charlie Dempsey and it remains Charlie Dempsey, because don't try to trick me into watching Drew Gulak. I mean, Danielson did that. He got me to watch Drew Gulak for 20 minutes. And outside of 205 Live, safe and sound on the ground, I don't want to watch Drew Gulak. Hate to break it to you. But, so that was fine. Now, the main event of the show got crazy. It was something else. Let me tell you. Trick Williams comes out there. Trick Williams breaks down his entire history with Carmelo Hayes, saying that Carmelo's success made him want to step his game up. He thought Melo was going to be happy for him, but then he heard the whispers that Melo was jealous. Even John Cena told him that Melo was jealous. Was John Cena naked when he told you that? Was he wearing heels? Was he wearing a skirt? I wouldn't trust John Cena if he was wearing a skirt. Wouldn't trust him if he was naked either. In any event, he said that Melo lied to his face about being the guy who attacked him, but he told the truth about one thing. They're not on the same level. And he said, challenged Melo to a match at Stand and Deliver. Effective promo. Trick Williams is really great promo. Only problem is, so much of this was just recapping the story. You know, for 2 years, I had your back. For 2 years, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we could have just shown video clips of that. And then we could have just got straight into the new information. Shorten this thing up a little bit. So, out of nowhere, here comes Noam Dar. Now, Noam Dar is... Why is he involved with Trick Williams at all? Like, I'm confounded at this point. So, Noam Dar talks about how him and Trick they're a lot alike. He lost his best friend. Trick Williams lost his best friend too. But now, unlike Trick Williams, he's not going to sit around and complain about it. He's going to move on to bigger and better things. So he's there to steal the hype from Trick Williams. Everybody's talking about Trick Williams. Everybody's excited about Trick Williams. They should be talking about him. And so Trick Williams tells Noam Dar to beat it, mind his business, leave him alone. Noam Dar will not do that, and instead chooses to fight. And at this point, Trick Williams talks about how Lash Legend is looking at him. And got a huge pop out of the audience, right? So Metaphor jumps into the ring. It's 2 men, 2 women. You know, the girls kind of hold back a little bit. The 2 guys kind of get bumped around. So then Lash Legend tries to attack Trick Williams. He grabs her arms or whatever. He kind of wraps her up. Their faces get really close and she kissed Trick Williams. The place exploded. The building just went nuts at that point. Everybody's surprised. Trick Williams hulks up, launches Oro Mensah over the top rope. I mean, my God. It looked like he got shot out of a cannon. It was crazy, like something out of Smash Brothers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you hit these guys and go... That's what it looked like. I was like, that kiss sent him into Super Saiyan mode, and this guy's just getting bounced all over the place. So, Lash Legend is going to try to explain herself and why she kissed Trick Williams. And, you know, Trick Williams is fired up now. He wants to fight Carmelo Hayes, and he's got a match with Noam Dar next week. This was tremendous. This was tremendous, bro. I don't know, man. This is hilarious. The funniest thing also is right after the kiss, Vic Joseph just blurts out, "Book, why you sweating?" Everything about this is chaotic and fun. This is the kind of shit that I love NXT for. It's over the top. It literally just comes out of nowhere sometimes. But, of course, it's sensible. If you know the backstage history, Trick Williams and Lash Legend really are dating. So it's not like that over the top. But in terms of characters, it kind of went kind of fast, right? So they're probably going to put Lash Legend with Trick Williams. That's fine. I like that. It might be good for her because she needs to do something else other than being with the Metaphor. And it seems to be that's going to be the plan, is they're going to separate the Metaphor, or at the very least do something different with them. And Noam Dar just needs somebody to lose to, because he's not going to be a main event guy. I mean, you can forget it. But, you know, giving Trick Williams a free dub ought to be okay. But that last segment was crazy. I loved it. I thought it was tremendous. Great promo from Trick Williams, even though it might have been too long, with a little too much information. But all the stuff that happened afterwards made him look really strong. and the crowd was 100% in on everything. They bought in on the storyline. They bought in on the promo. They're bought in on the Lash Legend and Trick Williams kiss. Everything is working out. And I don't know, man. I liked it. It's chaotic, but I liked it. I think there's some money in all of this. Maybe not in the Noam Dar situation, because it's like, why? But the rest of it, pretty damn solid. So I can't wait to see where we go on from here. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.